Hi guys, welcome to my craft room. My name is Whitney Lucas. I'm with Crafty Thoughts and Whatnots, and today I wanted to show you guys a cute, quick little Halloween craft of a witch's broom. Really fast, really simple and easy. I put a picture up on Instagram and Facebook a few days ago, and I got some positive responses, and everybody said, hey, let's make a video or a tutorial, and I'll show you guys exactly how I did it. I just was looking online. I saw a few pictures of really cute items, and I thought, I could probably duplicate the same thing. I then looked on YouTube, and I couldn't find any tutorials. I found one tutorial of a lady that was making one for her own adult size. It was an actual broom for her own Halloween costume. And some of her techniques worked out pretty good, and I thought, well, for a mini one, I need to do a little bit different. So I wanted to show you guys, this is what I came up with right here. And this is the guy that I put a picture on Instagram and Facebook a couple days ago, and I got a lot of positive responses. So, I mean, this thing here, if you don't count the bristles, this piece of the dowel itself, it's about 13 inches. So with the tool, this whole thing is about 21 inches. So it's still a really cute mini piece that you can put in to pretty much anything. You could put this on a wreath. You could use this on a tablescape and a centerpiece. I have a friend I work with that is starting her own photography business, and she's taken off. She said this would make a really good photo prop. This would be cute to lay this in any kind of little basket or a little Halloween set type thing for any little girls going to dress up like witches. This would also make a really cute prop for an actual costume, for a little kid's costume. Anything else like this. This by itself, to me, it just looks cute just sitting there. So, I mean, there's times where I've just sat it down next to some stuff here and just let it sit as it is. And to me, that's just cute enough. But I'm probably going to end up putting this into a wreath. So I had some extra supplies. Everything I had here, everything I made this with, I had already in my possession. I had these are this wooden dowel. I had this left over. I have one more piece here that I've already painted. So I want to show you guys exactly how I did this. It's really quick and easy. It's not going to be anything probably more than 15 minutes, I don't believe. You're just cutting tulle and then you're tying it on. So I'm going to get started real quick after I pull up my live here on my tablet, just in case anybody has any questions while we're working. I try really hard to keep track of it, so if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to have at it. If I don't catch you while I'm on the Facebook Live, I'll answer after. And if you guys, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching the playback of this after the live has ended on Facebook, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys' time and your interest in my page. And if you're on YouTube, get me a like and a subscribe. I appreciate all of it. Also, feel free to leave any comments or questions in the annotation below, and I will get back to you as soon as I'm notified that I have them. And the responses will come in as soon as I type them in. Sorry, I lost track of what I was saying right there. So let me just set up this guy right here. Make sure I have my comments turned on. Okay. So what I did first was I needed to look for the handle piece of the broomstick. So I naturally went into my closet back here. You don't want me to open that. That's a nightmare in there. But I've got lots of goodies in there, lots of leftover stuff. I've got lots of dowels. I also make topiaries. It's a little pot with a stem in it and a ball with flowers. And I use dowels for that. So I had a lot of smaller dowels. But for the broomstick, I wanted something thicker. So this wooden dowel, you buy them, 3 feet long? They're pretty big in the stores, and they're all change. They're all for change. This right here, since I'm trying to show you here the diameter of this guy here. Hold on, let me check something real quick. The diameter, I can't see. I measured this here. I don't have this piece because this was already cut in my craft bin. When I measure this with a very small, I have measuring tape for fabrics. This comes in at 1/2 inch. So I'm assuming, I'm not sure exactly if that's how to get yourself a radius on that. It comes in as a 1/2 inch. But if you're going to go into where all the dowels are, whether you're at Michael's or Joann's or Walmart and anywhere craft section that sells wooden dowels, pretty much just feel for the size you think it's good. This right here was all I had in my craft bin, so I said, let me see if it works. If it's too big, then worst case scenario, we start over. There's nothing permanent on here other than a little dab of glue down here at the bottom and at the top to hold this ribbon. Other than that, all of this can come off, and other than the cut pieces of tulle, none of this is permanent unless you choose to. I didn't put any glue under here, but you'll see the construction. It's very simple. It's just a zip tie under there. So what I did was, for the dowel pieces, I had an extra, I only had 2 pieces left. Now, my husband and I had these left over from, we bought a bunch of dowels on top of other various security items or procedures we take in our home. We've got some pretty big wooden dowels in all of our window seals. So these 2 guys were left over, and I said, well, I can use them definitely for my topiaries or for something in my craft room. So I had these guys, they were unpainted. So I just literally just took your acrylic craft paint. Got a little craft guy here. Here's my leftover. It's all dry now. The little cheapy sponges you can get at Michael's. And I literally just painted it. What I like to do is, if there's something to where I'm holding on to one end and I'm painting it, if this side's not dry yet, then I just take that guy and I'll start on the bottom. And then this is left over from a, this is just regular styrofoam, you guys can see here. This is just styrofoam packaging from something. At some point I bought something, whether it was an electronic or something for the kitchen. Something came to me in a box and it had styrofoam in it. I will normally save the styrofoam. There are times that the styrofoam hoarding gets a little out of control, so then yeah, start throwing it away. But these little pieces come in handy for a lot of things. You can stick feathers in them. You can stick anything that has a pick in it, anything you don't really want to lay down. So I have these 2 pieces together. I painted this in. Now this is the end. This is the cut end here, if you can see here. It's not exactly a clean cut. This end is cut a little bit better. Actually, I think that might be the finished end. And see on this guy here, that's definitely the finish end. If I could show you under here, I would. This isn't really it. This one was a pretty clean cut, but this was obviously I cut these a long time ago, but I have this guy over here, if you guys can see him here. This was a vise my husband bought me for making my fabric pumpkins. When I was cutting the stems from the wood I got from the bushes in my backyard, it was a nightmare, so we have a vise. So that vise will help hold anything, including really thick wooden dowels, and you'll get a much cleaner edge on it. So since I only have one pretty icky, not so pretty edge, and one prettier edge, obviously I'm going to make this piece the top of the broomstick. So on this end right here, painted it first, stuck it down into the styrofoam, and then obviously this has gotten a little bit bigger. Then basically at that point you can hold it and paint the rest of this, and then I let it sit here to dry. Since this guy is dry now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the ribbon onto it first before we put any of this, any of the tulle on it. When I made this guy, this was like my trial run. I was really just messing around to see what I could come up with, see how cute it looked. So on that one, I didn't add the black ribbon twisted around the broom handle until last. And everything turned out great. It looked fine, but I think in this instance, it might be a better step to try it first. So on this one, I'm going to do all black and orange. Now this guy, I know I have purple and green in it too, but on this one, I'm just going to do all black and orange. I'm going to do a classic black-orange Halloween witch's broom. So I'm just going to take, and also I got this ribbon here. This is just some shiny, it's black ribbon. The light might be picking up something different in there. It's black ribbon, but it has a little bit of a gray silver iridescence to it. It's almost like it's got some metallic goodies running through it. So the only thing I'm doing here is just to hold it. I'm going to put a small dab of glue right at the end, just to hold that piece of ribbon on. Now we're going to put the tulle about 1 inch up, so it doesn't really, you're going to lose some of, obviously you paint it all the way to the end like I did, if you did. You're going to lose a little bit of this ribbon here because your tulle is going to come out, but it's going to be a more, I think in my opinion, it might look a little more finished because you'll see the ribbon going down into the tool. At that point, after I've glued it, I'm just holding it and I'm going to twist the dowel. And I'm going to keep twisting and let the ribbon take its natural course. You're going to have some pieces that are thicker together. You're going to have some pieces thinner together. I drove myself crazy the first time trying to get that black ribbon even on there. And at some point you just have to stop and accept it for what it is. It's beautiful just the way it's meant to turn out. And if it's meant to turn out a little uneven or a little quirky here and there, then that's just how the piece is going to be. So in this instance, this is just hand twisted. You can see some of these little spaces are bigger than the other, but I think it adds character. And it also saves you some of your own sanity because I rewrapped that thing multiple times. So we'll leave it at that and just say, however it gets on there. And if any of you guys have any better ideas or a better technique, or you've tried something similar and it's worked out better, please feel free. Send me a note, leave a comment. And if you're on YouTube, leave a comment below. If you're on Facebook, personal message me or comment on the picture. It's hard to answer on a Facebook Live after it's already been posted. If it says Crafty Thoughts and Whatnots was live, it's not a live video anymore, and it's really hard for me to get back to you on the comments because I can't find them until you go through the entire video. So if you're watching on YouTube Live, welcome. I'm very happy to have you. And if you have any ideas, just shoot them out while we're here. If you have any ideas after, send me a message or comment on the picture because I'm going to post another picture after this too. So when I get to the very end here, I'm just going to hold this straight across and wrap it on itself at the top. So then you get this little finished piece up here. And I'm literally just going to throw a dab of glue on that so it glues it to itself. Hold it shut on itself. See how much glue squishes out. And this looks like the glue's coming through here a little bit. So let me get that off my finger real quick. Oh, and check this out. I just got my nails done today. And since October 1st is 2 days away, can you see here, right here, we did a little bit of I did some Frankenstein on this one, and then we did some purple, orange, and black and green, and we had a little bit of fun. I get excited around the holidays. I can't help it. Christmas, Thanksgiving, fall, and Halloween. It's my favorite time of year. So I literally just cut that guy off right there. If you can see here on the edge, you can sort of see where I've ended it just because this kind of ribbon here, it looks like it's fraying a little bit because I haven't used this guy yet. So let me see. Yeah, I got one little piece of thread that came out, so I'm just going to clip it. And then if you can take a peek here, if I get it close enough, you'll see that's where my ribbon ended right there on the edge. See right here at the top? Looks great. If you're using a ribbon that might fray a little bit more, cut it off and fold it under. I've done that on another video. I was making a paper dahlia, and on the back of it, if you can glue it to a certain point, cut off what you want, fold that under, and then put your glue there, so then you're showing a fold. But on this one, this guy's not really going to go anywhere. There's a lot of glue under there. So now you've got your broomstick done. The hardest, well, not the hardest part, but I'd say the more tedious part is over with. So your broomstick is done. I'm going to set that back over here just to wait on us, and I'm thinking about adding ribbon to the tool part. I want to say the skirt, but to the broom, the bristles on the broom. I'm not sure if I'm going. I think I might try. I've got 2 spools of this. This was ribbon I got at Michael's. This brand, Celebrate It. I got this. I know I got this maybe either last year or 2 years ago, but they always have something similar out, especially if it's not in their holiday area. I think I got this closer to maybe New Year's one year, they have just a regular ribbon aisle, and they've got all kinds of options. These are the little spools that are usually like even this thinner ribbon here, if you can see that. They're like $1 or they're 50 cents a spool, depending on how thin they are. They always have something just a little bit extra fancier in that area if you can't find it during the holidays. But this is just little thinner ribbon. It's not wired. If I didn't mention that before, it's not wired. It's just thin ribbon, pretty inexpensive spools, and they have lots of options. So I grabbed this black one a couple years ago. So next on for the next step is the tool. I've already cut all of my black pieces. Basically, you want to just cut strips of tulle. On this guy, I cut them 13 inches long. I did that again just because my actual wood dowel is 13 inches long, so you can't go wrong if you're at least doubling your length. Tulle is extremely inexpensive. I've purchased it at many different places. My last find was a very large roll of it. This I got at Paper Mart. There's two kinds of tulle. There's a really inexpensive nylon kind, I believe, and then there's one step up that the price difference is, I'm telling you, it's in the change. This is a 100-yard roll. I got it for $5.26 at Paper Mart. Now I've gotten these smaller rolls here. This was $1.95. This is 25 yards. And I honestly don't know where I got this. But even locally at our Hobby Lobby and Michael's, you can find tulle. It is much cheaper when you buy it online, but this is still nothing that's going to break your bank if you were to buy it locally at one of the craft stores. I don't know if Dollar Tree or the 99-cent store has these, has tulle, but I don't imagine that it would be earth-shattering. I'm sure, obviously, it's a dollar store. It shouldn't be more than that. This entire spool cost me $1.95 for 25 yards, and this is 100 yards. This is a very large spool of tulle. Anyways, and this was a crazy good price. So if you break it down, which I did on here, you break it down, it ends up being 2 cents a foot. So if I'm only going to do 6 pieces, six strips of this. So 6 strips of this at 13 inches, you're looking at maybe 26 cents. You're still not even at $1. I mean, it's crazy and expensive when you buy the tulle online. Plus, I also had a lot of this on hand because I make rag garlands. I had an LED lighted garland where you just cut strips of tulle. There's also a wreath that a few people have liked that I have had on the back door here. It's made with Deco Mesh ribbon and tulle. Also very good to buy this in large quantities for very inexpensive. You can make an entire wreath for $5, $10, $15, $20 and you won't use all 100 yards. So what I've done is cut 20 pieces total. So there are 20 strips of tulle in here. And I just kind of randomized the color. I knew I wanted to have some stripes. And it turned out that you can see that I made sure the purple was up front. You can't really see it in the back. So depending on what you use your item for, you may or may not. I know I wanted to have some green showing throughout. And then I just threw 1 strip of purple up front. Now, there's another strip of purple back here that you can see when when you're looking through the bottom of the actual bristles of the broom. But on this particular one, the majority I'm going to do in black, and I'm only going to do 6 of these. 6 strips of orange, just to have a little bit pop through. I don't want to have too much orange because I'm going to have orange, obviously, in the dowel handle. And then I'm going to use the same ribbon. I've had this ribbon for quite some time. I'm talking about maybe 4 or 5 years now. And this is finally all I have left of it. And I absolutely love it. And I got that at Michael's years ago. And that's the same ribbon I used here to tie on this guy. So sticking with my black and orange theme, I'm just going to keep it and go with it. And don't want to put too much orange into it. Plus the black, once you get a lot of it together, it hides a lot more. It's more forgiving than some of the colored tools. So let me open this guy real quick. Let me save that. And then all I do is, oh, I forgot to mention how wide this is. I should actually just measure it, huh? This is 6 inches wide. So I do know that there are some websites, and I'm not sure if Paper Mart was one of them, but there are some that will sell them in different widths. You can get them in really large widths or small widths. I have some I decorated for a bridal shower. White tulle that came probably about maybe this big, so it's probably about 1 foot wide. This particular size is what I used for the wreaths, for my lighted rag tie garlands. And then also worked out perfectly for this little guy here too. So it's 6 inches wide. And then we're going to cut them by 13 inches long. So I got my rotary cutter out too. Again, we buy these at Walmart or any craft store. Walmart might be better if it's cheaper. The blades themselves are the expensive part to replace. And those are the same price no matter where you buy them. So if you got a coupon, go to Michael's because Walmart doesn't really do much in the craft world for coupons, and that's only for blades. So Just going to measure this out here, and I'm only going to cut 6 of these. So 13 inches is about 10 to 23. So I've got one piece. Got a little bit of static going on in here. And we're going to end up cutting some of this off at the end. So, I mean, I'll show you afterward. I'm cutting these 6 pieces. We're going to kind of try to line them all up, get them in little strips. If you have a specific pattern or stripe in mind, let's see. Oh, Stacy says careful. Hi, guys. Thank you very much. Yes, I'll be careful. Only a little bit of glue tonight, Stace. No, just the glue gun. And then Susan says, so glad you're willing to have this with us. Love your videos. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate you being here. So, how many did I do? So I've already lost track. 1, 2, 6. So there's 3. I only need to cut 3 more. Once I get this all put together, we're going to end up cutting off the edges at the very bottom of, I guess I'm going to keep referring to them as the bristles of the broom. So that's all I cut for that. Again, I cut 20 pieces total. So I have 14 pieces of black, and I've got 6 pieces of orange. I'm only going to have a little bit of orange peeking through this this little guy here because I'm going to do all solid black and orange. So what we're going to do here, so I want to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing down here. Let me push this down a little bit more. Okay, so what I'm doing here is the end product, your bristles are coming down, right? So in order to attach them, and what I liked about it was the broom handles coming out of what is your bristles. One of the videos I watched online, the gal had created her broom bristles in her hand and then just kind of put them on top of the wooden broomstick or dowel. And to me, it didn't look like a broom. So, I mean, it looked great for what she was doing. She was creating a full-size one for her costume for Halloween. And it looked great when she was on her end product. But this one, for me, I was thinking this is going to be up close and personal to more people. If you're putting it in a tablescape, a centerpiece, wreath, or if you're using it as a photo prop, it's definitely going to have a little bit more detail needed. And I liked the way, all the way around, your broom handle is coming out of the bristles. So what I did was, had to sit back and think about it. This is the end piece. That's the icky piece that we glued everything to. Now remember I said that your bristles are going to come up probably about 1 inch. So all I'm going to do is, I know that this is the part we want to show. We're going to cover that up first. So I've tried to line up most of my black pieces kind of even. So if you can take them and kind of, you're gathering them on one end. It's nothing that's like a crazy science to it. But you're going to try to get most of your pieces. I got a piece of styrofoam in here from the thing. Trying to get most of your pieces even however you can. Sometimes it's kind of like a small nightmare. Nothing like Deco Mesh. Deco Mesh would snag everything and it would probably drive you insane before you actually got anywhere. So I just try to line them up. You're not going to get all this even, because even when I had finished this guy, the end pieces were kind of really, really all out of whack. So what I'm doing here first is I laid out my black ones all in a straight line. Here's my 6 orange ones. Now, I haven't tried this yet. Wait a minute, do I have 6? Maybe I can't count. No, I do. Okay. Just making sure. I don't want to embarrass myself, right? So, just making sure I have my 6. I'm going to place my 6 orange pieces on the bottom of this dowel first. So if this is the end I want to cover up, and that is my handle, I'm going to put the tool going with the handle, because we're going to basically zip tie this and then flip it over, and that's basically how you finish the piece. So hold it with your right side down. This is the side you want to be your finished end, down, and then just put your tool in strategic places around that. So this is gonna, hopefully when we're finished, this is gonna create stripes of orange on the top of all of this black tulle. So I kind of just holding the tool at the top. If you guys can see that here, I've kind of made this as even as it's gonna get. It's not gonna be crazy. It's not gonna make a big difference. So I'm holding that there, and I've laid all this out flat here. Just want to see. Hold on, real quick. There we go. So make sure that I can see what you guys see. So I made this as even as I can right here on this end. And I'm going to just start grabbing it. And I'm just going to roll with this and roll with this and roll with this down. And now all these are separate pieces, so it's not like you have to gather and squish it or crunch it together. You're just rolling it to get all of your tulle together. So now I have my oranges on the inside, which will eventually be the outside after we flip it, and then there's all the black here on the outside to kind of cushion it. So I'm going to pull this down a little bit just to get my dowel closer to the edge. And then what I secured it with is one of these guys. This is just a little 4-inch zip tie. If you got a bigger zip tie, that's better. I have a big supply over here, but I just can't reach them. I also have some black zip ties somewhere too, but this guy won't show through. It's not going to show through your project at all. So this little 4-inch guy here, you can get them on many websites. I got a large box or a bag of them at Lowe's for very inexpensive. I know you can buy them on Paper Mart. You can get them online at a lot of different places. Trendy Tree sells them in 100 packs for $1.25. They're pretty inexpensive. So this little 4-inch guy here, all I'm going to do is wrap it around. And again, I'm only going down maybe an inch or so from the end of that dowel. So wrap it around my, okay, that's the end piece. Wrap it around my project here. I'm going to fight with it for just a little bit. But there we go. So, and then pull it as tight as you could possibly get it. This guy's not going to move much because you're going to secure more ribbon around the base of it after you turn it right side out. So I've tightened that as much as I possibly can. You can see the little groove. It's holding that tulle on there. So then I'm just going to cut this guy off here. I leave just a little bit on there. You know, zip ties, if you don't leave a small amount on there, if you guys can see that. If you don't leave a small amount on there, then you're pretty close to ruining the zip tie and it'll pop back open. I've had that happen to me before on other projects. So now here is the end result. We'll see. This is what we've made. Our dowel's inside, so now we're going to take our tulle and pull it down and around the outside. So here's my orange strips coming down. Yeah, it worked out. That's kind of cool. It's the first time trying. I'm glad it worked out on camera, right? So there's my little stripes. That's what I intended. That worked out good. So now at this point, you can feel underneath here. There's lots of static going on in here. You can feel your zip tie under there, and then you can also feel the end. If you're squeezing, you can feel the end of the dowel. So make your strips your color. I'm just going to gather these 6 orange pieces a little bit thinner. Maybe even twist them a little bit. Just for the top poof part is what I'm going for. We'll see how this works out. Just going to twist them a lot. It's whatever part you want to be the front. Nothing says you can't also fluff. I'm fluffing all this good stuff too. So I'm going to grab it right here underneath. Let's see, I want some black pieces to show through, so I'm going to pull this up through the top. I positioned my orange. I probably should have put a couple black pieces in between each, but for this little guy, still going to be okay. Still looks great. Here we go. So what I'm doing is I'm holding it right underneath where that dowel is ended, and that's pretty much, excuse me, that's where we're going to tie our ribbon off at. So you've got the secured under here with your zip tie. Now I'm going to take my ribbon. So this is my little extra piece of the little orange with the black spiders that I couldn't pass up. My little, that's what I have left of a remnant. And you're just going to tie that on your piece right underneath your dowel. So if I'm holding it down here, I can feel my dowel ends right here. So I'm going to pull it up as close as possible to that there. And again, this isn't wired ribbon either. Tonight, none of this has really been wired. Excuse me, my nose is itching me. And I think this styrofoam. Okay, So I pulled that right up underneath there, tied it as tight as possible, and that's where you're getting that cute little poof at the top of the broom. And then I'm just going to tie this. Actually, I probably, since this is a remnant, this is all I have left of it, I need to actually be a little bit more conscious of where I'm tying this ribbon so I don't waste it, because I probably can get one more bow out of this what I have left here. So I'm going to tie this with a little bit less on one end. Yeah, that'll work out great. So it's one-sided ribbon also, so you got to make sure when you're tying your bow that you're concentrating on the pattern showing out through the front. And then just for your own peace of mind, once you get, you'll mess with this bow left, right, you kind of move it here and there, twist this piece there. Once you get it into the position that you're happy with, put a tiny little piece of glue in it, just a small little dab of hot glue, and that guy won't move anymore. And then you don't have to worry about should somebody pick up the piece or touch it on the wreath or on your centerpiece or your tablescape, or if kids should get a hold of it. It's really not going to go very far as coming undone. I'm a bit of a bow perfectionist. I don't know if you guys could tell, since I'm spending so much time right here just trying to get everything to face forward. Alright, so I'm a little happy with that. So you got everything facing forward. I would put a little dab of glue under here, a little dab of glue. Just dab glue all around, then it won't come undone. I'm going to cut this off here. We're almost done, guys. So I thought about adding ribbon into the tulle. And you can add more tulle just to make your bottom of your broom a lot thicker, if that's what you should want to do. I'm going to cut this guy off at a diagonal. That one comes down this way, so I'm going to cut that guy off just there like that. And then what I've done here is, because the broom, that's a little bit too long, and it's also uneven down here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold everything, and I'm probably going to cut off, how much is this going to be? Well, because it's uneven, some pieces it looks like I'm cutting off to like 3 inches, but it's kind of like just kind of scrunch it all together. You can see here, I've scrunched it all together, and with my fingers here, this is a very decent size. I also want it to kind of fan out and look real cute like a broom. So I'm just going to cut off all of this here in one shot. Make sure your scissors are sharp. And you get a good cut. That last little bit there just decided to fight me. So there you go. And there's that guy here. So here's another little broom. This guy right here, you have remnants. You can, I don't know what I honestly, there's lots of stuff I save, but this stuff I have no idea what I would do with it. I don't know if you could decoupage, but I don't know what I'd do with it. If you guys have ideas, let me know. I have honestly thrown it away. That might be a bad thing in the craft room, but I don't know what to do with the rest of that. That's why if you cut 13 inches and if you know you're not going to use that much, then cut it a little bit shorter. I leave a little bit of extra play just because you never know how much you're going to want up here to keep the top part of the broom a little poofy. So here's the first guy I made. This guy's got some purple and green in him, and then the same dowel. And then here's this guy with a dowel. It's got a little bit of silvery, blackish gray ribbon. Got a black and orange bristles, and then the cute little spider ribbon right here on there. And that's basically the gist of it. So you don't really need many supplies, and you only really need probably about maybe 15-20 minutes, and you've got a little broom made. I think maybe the hardest, well, the more tedious part would be cutting all the strips of tulle. I cut them pretty quickly if you've got a craft mat. If you don't, you're fine. Just put down a piece of cardboard so you don't ruin your table. You can cut it with scissors. You can cut it with a rotary blade, whatever is easy for you. But tull's very forgiving. You really can't mess it up, even if it's crooked. At the end of our project, when we made that last cut, kind of gives it the little last piece of, yeah, that's a cute little witch's broom. So that's it for the broom. If you guys have any more questions or You have comments, or if you wanted to see anything else, let me know. Send a message to my Facebook page. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below, and I'll get back to everybody. I'm probably going to do another Facebook Live either tomorrow or Sunday. I haven't decided if it's going to be Halloween or not. Still have some Halloween goodies over here I want to do stuff with. Otherwise, it might be fall themed. I have a little scarecrow. I want to put him in a swag and have him on the door. It's a scarecrow piece that fits in. I know I haven't tried out my Halloween kits yet, as far as the Frankenstein and the ghost, but I'm going to work on it. I'm going to see if I can get one of those done this weekend, and then I'll show everybody what's going on. I'll put some more pictures. The pictures I put online, I didn't have my lights out, so I'll get my lights out, and I'll take some pictures of these guys. And then also I have a friend that's going to take some pictures of my dogs for Halloween and fall, and I'll use one of these guys as a prop in there, so I'll have those posted on my Facebook page too, because she's amazing with her photography. So may have been spurred on to make this for my dog's photo shoot, might not have been, who knows. It's just a little impromptu, fun little get together, and these make perfect props. Any of this stuff make a perfect prop, but when extra supplies come together and it looks so damn cute, you just can't help it. So I'll definitely have some more pictures on there. I appreciate everybody joining me tonight. And again, if there's anything you guys want to see, let me know, and I'll do my best to make it happen. I can try to find supplies and make things happen. And then just let me know. Comment or message the Facebook page, and we'll get together and we'll see what we can do. So other than that, I'm going to say goodnight, and I appreciate all you guys. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, you guys have a good one, okay? Bye-bye.